Now, I want to sell my home, but can I do it without an agent? I mean, I am going to manage everything from the beginning to the end. Can I do it? Yes, you absolutely can sell your home without an agent. Now, with the information being readily available, there's no question about whether you can sell your home on your own. The real question really is, how much would you be able to sell it without the help of professionals? Or should you do it? Now, let's talk about this. Hello, everybody. This is Bojie here. I'm Bay Area real estate agent, been selling Bay Area forever. Now, today I want to talk about for sale by owners. These are the people that are selling their homes without the help of professionals. And some are actually doing it quite well, quite successfully. So now the question becomes, can I sell my home without the help of real estate professionals? Now, when it comes to completing a large transaction such as home selling, there are typically two aspects of it. The first is transactional aspect. These are the paperwork and your legal process, the disclosures and the logistic process, and etc. These are the necessary part of any transactions. And they're typically handled by real estate agents, or if you have a real estate attorney, they typically charge between $300 to $400 per hour. Now, these are some of the most tedious and time-consuming things but that's required in any real estate transactions. So that's aspect one. And the second aspect is the human aspect. You're dealing with other human beings in regards to lots of money. So this is where 80% of the battle is going to take place. Because, I mean, people make or break the deal. It's not the transaction itself. So when it comes to successfully selling home on your own at a premium price, which I'm assuming most of the people want to do so, I see three major challenges in most general cases. The first is marketing. Now, I have another video which I go more in depth about how I help my sellers market their home. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about marketing in this video. And but basically, you create more exposures when you put your home on the market. There are two types of marketing: the active and the passive marketing. And you put your home on websites such as Zillow, Craigslist. That is good, but we do a lot more to bring in more eyeballs to see to look at your home than just putting it on Zillow. And but that's a different video, and I'll put a link in description that will link you to that video where I go more in depth about marketing and stuff. So, but that's difficult. But that's typically the first challenging aspect, because without proper marketing, without having your pricing, your appeals, the condition of the home all lined up, you're not gonna create a lot of eyeballs and attentions of your home, and therefore, you probably don't have enough people to work with. So marketing is absolutely the first thing, and it's also a very important task to do. So, but the second aspect is pre-qualification and follow-up. So assuming that you have your marketing done well, you're going to be getting a lot of calls, a lot of emails from all kinds of people, from real estate agents in particular. But you're also going to get calls from, potential buyers, whether they're ready or they're not ready, whatever. So in order to be more productive and more efficient, you do need a pre-qualification process. And this is designed to help you filter out the ones that are not serious. Those will be the ones that are wasting your time. So pre-qualifications are, the way I do it is, these are a set of questions that we ask, whoever that calls me, in order to find out what they're all about. Questions such as, are you looking to buy a home? Are you living locally, or are you from out of the area? How long have you been looking for homes? How are you planning to finance your purchase? Have you spoken with loan officers already? And have you seen these other homes that are also selling in the area? These are all great questions that's designed to invoke some thoughts on the other party. And then by them responding to these questions, it gives you cues whether this person is serious, they know what they're doing, they're fully prepared, fully educated, or they are a waste of time. So these are absolutely very important questions, because without proper pre-qualification, when it comes to the time of following up with these so-called like potential interests, you really don't know who you should follow up, who you should not. I mean, chances are buyers in today's market are not just looking at your home, they're looking at all the other homes that are selling in your market. So you got to follow up with them, because they're the one that could either buy your home or the other home. And but without the proper pre-qualification and the follow-up systems in place, then it is not going to be very well productive, even though your marketing is good, you're bringing in the attentions. So I have prepared a list of questions that I typically use with my listings or the open house that I'm holding, and I'd be happy to email these questions to you. So that way you can take a look at these questions and apply it in your own pre-qualification and follow-up. So I'll put my email contact in the link in description down below. Feel free to email me, and I'll email you my set of questions for pre-qualifications and follow-up. And also, I use technologies. We use a lot of technologies when it comes to pre-qualification and follow-ups. We have CRM technologies. So we don't just answer a phone call and save them to my phone and then put them on an Excel sheet. We use CRMs. If you're not familiar with CRM technology, this is called customer relation management. Now, if you're living in the Bay Area, you must know the company by the name of Salesforce. They are one of the biggest company in the space of CRM. Of course, I'm not using their technology, but that kind of gave you an idea of what CRM is about. So we use technologies of CRM to gather up all these potential inquiries and then organize our follow-up system. And we use technologies such as showing time, Calendly, to help manage the showing, pre-qualifying, these phone calls, and then selectively putting them into the CRM so that we can set up for the follow-up. So all these are done systematically to maximize the result that the marketing is able to bring. And if you don't have these technologies set up, then you probably have to spend a lot more time answering phone calls, making notes, pre-qualifying them, and do the follow-up yourself, which can be done, but I see that as the second most challenging part for most of the for sale by owners. And the third part is negotiation. So you have the marketing, you have a good follow-up. Now you're bringing an offer on the table. So now it's the time of negotiations. And you may not know that a property typically has to sell 3 times before it closes and you, the seller, gets paid. And let me explain what that is. The first time the property has to be sold is when the buyer is making an offer. And assuming that, your marketing is good, assuming your pricing, the condition of your home, and the appeal of your home are all lining up, and assuming that your marketing is bringing this buyer who is serious, ready, and educated, all done within the average days on market, and the buyer is going to make an offer, and this is how much, and this is the term. So this will be the first time the negotiation take place, just to get the offer in a contract. Okay. Now the second time you will have to you potentially be negotiating with a buyer is when the buyer does home inspections. they typically will hire an inspection company that will come and examine the condition of your home in order to see if there's any hidden issues about your property. Know that buyers are emotional creatures, just like we all are. And most buyers in today's market, most buyers are not very knowledgeable about property in general because they've never owned a home before. So you've got emotions, and then you've got the lack of knowledge, and you've got the inspection report coming back. And if you are selling a pre-owned home, chances are the report's going to come back with a little bit of nitpicking from these companies. And this is when the buyer could come back and reconsider the offer based on what they are seeing in the report. This will potentially cause a second round of negotiation. Now, the third time when the property will have to go through selling and negotiation again is during the appraisal period. This is when the buyer's lender is going to send an appraiser to come look at your home and provide a value report to their lender, their banks, to justify the offer price. So you don't know what is going to come out of this report, but this is the third time that the buyer could reconsider their initial offers. And of course, negotiation takes place, and buyers always uncertain about the conditions or the appraisals. You know, their biggest fear is spending a lot of money and buying a home that's not worth the price. It is the seller's job to, of course, negotiate and keep what they're asking for, but at the same time, keep the deal together. I know you are going to be a tough negotiator because anybody can be a tough negotiator. However, if you want to get a deal done, being tough is important, but at the same time, you have to also be more skilled. There's a saying that the power of the negotiation is the ability to walk away, but the skills is never having to. There are a lot of deals that falls apart at the second stage or the third stage. And the seller spent a lot of time with the marketing, with the pre-qualification and follow up, with bringing the deal under the contract, just to see the deal falls apart because of an unsuccessful negotiation. This can be emotionally draining and exhausting. So as a seller, having a good negotiation skills and expectation, and being able to think a few steps ahead of the game is absolutely challenging, but it's also very important, keeping the deal together and having a successful transaction at the price and terms that you want. So besides these three major challenges that I see, there are other challenges involved when it comes to successfully selling a home too. And these can be from the transactional side. Disclosure, okay? Now, when you're selling your home in the state of California, you as a seller are legally obligated to provide disclosures to any buyers. So what are the disclosures? What are all of the things that you have to disclose? Is that something that you're familiar with, right? How do you provide these informations? Now, disclosure, what I mean is any material facts about the property that may affect the desirability or the value of the home. So you will have to know exactly what are all of these material facts that's going to involve as part of your disclosure. This can be time consuming. And also purchase contract. An offer comes in, you have to be able to read the purchase contract and identify if there's any part of the contract that's not well written, that has any loopholes, okay? And of course, the bookkeeping of all the legal communications, okay? The buyer says this, seller says this, the lender says this, the agent says this. Like, how are you bookkeeping all of these legal communications? And of course, the logistics, should I clean up today? Should I move all the furniture tomorrow? Should I give the key, the day after? Should I install the lockbox? All these are little things, but these are the things that can absolutely make your process a lot easier or work against you. So all these are not too difficult challenges, but it can be time consuming and mentally demanding. So at the end, should you sell your home as a for sale by owner? This is what I recommend. If you're not in a hurry and you want to just test the market, sure, I say give it a try. Put it on Zillow, see what's going to happen. Okay. And if you have a lot of free time, number two, free time, and if you absolutely love talking to people, and I think for sell by owner might be something for you, because one thing I can guarantee you is if you put your home on Zillow, you're going to get a lot of phone calls where 80% are going to be real estate agents. Okay. They may have a buyer or they may not have a buyer. Okay. And you're going to get calls from a few potential buyers. They're legit. And you're going to get calls from potential scammers. And you're going to get calls from advertisers, vendors who's trying to sell you their services. But, you will have to be able to probably talk to all of them and identify the ones that are actually serious, legitimate buyer or the agent with legitimate buyers. And if that's something you love to do and you have a lot of time doing, I would say, yeah, go for it. And thirdly, if you understand sales and human emotions, and then you can handle tough negotiations, because let's face it, okay, sales is going to involve a lot of emotions. But at the end of the day, don't take anything too personally. Okay, just like I mentioned before, if the transaction falls apart, it can be emotionally exhausting. But oftentimes you're dealing with another human being. It could happen. Just like even marriage falls apart, even friends no longer become friends anymore. I mean, people change, people's emotion changes, and people's communication styles are different. And are you absolutely like, do you absolutely like sales and you understand how to interact and communicate with another human emotions and managing these difficult negotiation? If that's something you like to do, just like we agents, this is what we do for a living, and we're used to not being attached to emotional outcomes, then I would say, yeah, give it a try. Number four, if you have a lot of real estate legal experience, I would say, yeah, put that to a good use. And lastly, if you want convenience over price, there's something for you to think about, because I don't know what your situation is. Some people, they live in the house for 30 years, they have a lot of stuff. They just want to sell it without having to go through showings, without having to clean up the property. And more importantly, they want a cash offer and they want to move out at their own pace. That's convenience, okay? And the buyer does not need to look at the condition of the home. They're just going to be buying it. And of course, with the convenience on your side, the price is going to go down a little bit. Now, if you are okay with that, you just want to sell this home kind of like off the market, just get rid of it, convenience over price, I would say, yeah, you can either sell it by owner or find an investor who's willing to just, have you offload your property to. Then I would say, give this a consideration as well. Other than all of these, I would say selling a home is still a very tall task. It's still very, very challenging, and your risk leaving money on the table and your risk potential like legal challenges. But like I said, if you feel like you can overcome the main challenges that I have outlined above, I'd be happy to hear from what you say. So comment down below and let me know what you think about selling this home by owner. And I'm here to provide some valuable informations. And if you find this information helpful and you want to know more about how to prepare your home for sale, feel free to reach back out. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time.